What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that Kelly Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. You know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and thank you for making us a part of your day. We got our end of the year movies that are coming out right now, which are these. Award season's upon us. I love this time of year because there's so many movies coming out, so much content to cover, so much movies to watch. We still on that intermission of a movie, which we'll mention later in this one because I do want to talk about comparisons to the two. So, but anyways, let's get right to it. So, Angela, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about Nosferatu. So, Nosferatu is a 2024 American Gothic horror film written and directed by Robert Eggers. This film is a remake of the 1922 silent classic Nosferatu, which was an unauthorized adaptation of Bram Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula.
Count Dracula, yeah.
Set in the 19th century German port city of Wismar, the story follows Ellen Hutter, Lily Rose Depp, a young woman plagued by visions and supernatural occurrences. Her life becomes intertwined with Count Orlok, Bill Skarsgård, a mysterious and terrifying vampire who becomes infatuated with her, leading to a series of haunting events. So what overall takeaway? I know this was something you were really, really excited about. The cast, when they first announced it, was really stacked. You know, they had William Dafoe, Bill Skarsgård, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Nicholas Hoult. Like, it had such a great cast, very familiar names that we like. Yeah. And I know you were really excited about that. Coming from watching this film, did this live up to your expectations?
So I'm going to say this, guys. My expectations were kind of high because of the fact that if you're not a fan of Robert Eggers films, they are always, they're grand. They're really great storytelling, driven character, depthness, darkness that are just, he does really good monumental scenes that are just so grand and just so even the cinematography is grand, everything like that, black and white still, he does so good. Like the Northman that came out a few years back, same thing with The Lighthouse with William Dafoe, Robert Pattinson. The Witch is one of my favorite movies of his, my top film. Obviously this I have to admit, you know, after watching this movie and everything, my expectations were underwhelmed. They were below.
So you went in with high expectations, and this did not meet.
No, it did not. It did not meet my expectations. It was very underwhelmed. And I hate to say this. This is not a great movie, guys. This is not a great movie, and I'm going to tell you why. There's a few reasons why. One of the reasons why, and Angela, I do want to get your take on this as well. When we talk about movies, when we talk about story-driven, we talk about that a lot in the Movie Talk studio here. We talk about that of a lot of just like TV shows, even Penguin. TV shows are just killing it right now when it comes to story arc, when it comes to story depth. And people are going to say, well, Ryan, it's because they got a lot of runtime. No, that's not true. A lot of times could be in depth where like character driven and great movies like Oppenheimer. Even hence the sense of Barbie too. Like, it's just movies like that are just story driven, and character development is grand from the beginning to end. Now we go into Nosferatu, which is a movie that I really thought was going to be more character-driven by this adaptation of Count Dracula. That's a rodent-like versus the charming aspect. I honestly thought we were going to get more horror elements. I'm not going to lie. I thought I was going to be more scared. This movie sucks. And I hate to say that. When it comes to horrorness, when it comes to like what it was feeding us from the trailers, from the coffin, from the prop stuff, from the popcorn buckets, it's underwhelming and it's just not good. And I wasn't scared one bit, and not even creepy. And it sucks because knowing from this director, knowing from this writer who does so good stuff, I'm all like, dude, this is a step down from your work. But anyways, what'd you think, Angela, before I keep going on and on?
So I'm familiar with this work, but there are certain movies that I don't personally like. Yeah. Like, I know you love The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's a grand movie.
Necessarily like that movie at all. Like a 1 out of 10 for me, 0 out of 10 if I could.
Wow.
But I agree, the way he shoots films is done very beautifully, very well. And I had a lot of high expectations, like you say, from the trailer. I thought that this was going to be not only a good story, but also one that was shot beautifully. And I will agree, this movie was shot beautifully. Yes, I love the lighting. Yeah. I love a lot of the shots that were done, the cinematography. I really like a lot of the camera angles and all that stuff. It was fantastic. But I think the story fell short. And I think it's not necessarily because this is basically again, a play on Dracula.
Yeah.
So it's not like it strays too far from that. It's just, I don't know what it is about it. Maybe the way it was edited or something. A lot of the parts just didn't mesh for me. And I just feel like you say, I had gone on with high expectations and I was let down. I feel like I wanted to love this movie. I really did. But it was a big letdown for me. And I don't think it was anything on the cast's fault. Like, I think, again, the actors and actresses did a great job. But there's just something missing from this. And I can't quite put my finger on it. And it was a letdown for me as well.
I could tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Guys. Okay, so I'm going to... again, I talked about the Brutalist. So we actually stopped watching it because we were busy with other stuff. Life happens. We're at the intermission point. We haven't finished the movie yet. But I could tell you right now, moviegoers are going to be like, Ryan, the reason why you don't like this movie is because it's not action. It's not action-packed. And I see the comments. Guys, The Brutalist is a effing fucking great movie. It's fucking beautiful. I haven't even finished it. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's shot so spectacular. Nickel Boys, another grand film. It's so beautiful. Action barely even happens in The Brutalist. Action happens at the very end of the film, and it's a very few seconds or maybe a few minutes. And I gotta be honest here. When we talk about story arc, now this movie, particularly this film, the story doesn't go anywhere. It's idling. It's like the story's just idling. It's just a woman. Oh, there's this creature here, but we don't know what we're gonna do. We don't know what's gonna happen.
It does take a long time to get to where it's going.
It's just idles. Like it just sits there. Like it's almost you have the gear to drive, and you're just sitting there with your brake on the pedal. That's the best example I could give. And it doesn't go anywhere. Like at the very end, yes, it kind of gives us this tries to, right, at least gives us this grand ending story. But at the same time, I'm all like, what the heck? The original is better. I'm gonna say it right now. The original OG is better. 1922. That first, I think when it first came out, the black and white is way better. Yeah. One of the things also I'm gonna say as well was the costume. The costume, when the big reveal is underwhelming. The big reveal is very underwhelming.
That was the thing too. Yeah. Like you said earlier, this character is supposed to be more monstrous,
more rodent,
like creature-esque, right?
I didn't feel that way.
I did not feel that way. I didn't like a lot of the choices for how Count Orlok looked. I didn't like that. I think the most how do you say distracting thing for me was the choice to slap a mustache on him. Yeah, which I kind we kind of discussed it off camera. Maybe it's maybe we can understand that, but it didn't go right. And like I said, some of the way he looked, I just didn't like the way he looked. I think he could have been scarier, could have been creepier. I think some of the scenes could have been scarier and creepier. Again, I loved lighting and stuff, but it felt short in a lot of places for me. Yeah, a lot of choices that were made. So unfortunately, it was a big letdown. I had higher hopes for this. I agree. I think it took forever to get to the point. It was so slow, and it really, you kind of are wanting it to pick up and like, okay, hurry up. There were some moments that were great, but overall as a film, it was lacking. And I'm very surprised of this director because he does very good driven stories. And again, I go back to where like the comments, I know guys are gonna be like, Ryan, well, it's the action packed, that's why you didn't like it. No, I fucking love great movies that have no action period and are just great story-driven stories where it talks about this character, this person that goes through something, that goes through underdog story, or whether they're going through this this oppression, going through this depression, going through these just anything that has to do with character-driven stories. I'm all for it, and I love when it goes to like these horror elements. And I'm a fan of Robert Eggers. That's I'm so like shocked that he made this movie. At the same time, I'm just like, what the heck? And this casting in here was so superb, and I loved everyone that was casted in this movie. I was on board 100%. This is definitely one of my anticipated movies of December of the year.
Of one of the few of the year, and just I was excited for this movie, and yeah. But anyways, rating, Angela, what do you give this rating? 1 out of 10, 10 being the highest. What do you give this rating?
For me, it's not a complete crash and burn. Like I said, it had good moments.
Yeah.
The cast was brilliant. It was missing things. Overall, I think for me, it's like a 4 out of 10. Okay. I personally wouldn't see this again.
Wow.
I personally wouldn't recommend people see it. Like if you are a fan of his work and you like the genre, you you like the
or
cast,
just horror itself,
or horror itself, sure, check it out.
I just
but
don't.
I just personally wouldn't go around telling people, hey, this is a movie to check out, especially with what's competing in theaters right now.
Yeah.
So, eventually take your time, but if you're choosing between this and something else, maybe go in a different direction.
And I hate to talk about that, because at the same time, I never go into a movie where like I hope I hate this movie because I'm a critic and I hope I hate watching. No, it's not like that. I want to enjoy every single movie that I see, and I hate talking bad about a film, but at the end of the day, it's just like you have to give your honest review. You have to get. Did you love it? Because then I guarantee you, there's so many times that they're like, Ryan, you said this movie was great and it sucked, or whatever, vice versa, right? But it's fair warning.
I personally haven't seen the 1922.
It's better than this one.
I've not seen that. Yeah. I have not read the original Count Dracula. I have not that. So that's just my opinion. But overall, like, again, you can totally disagree with me. Totally fine. I would love to hear your perspective. But for me, it was a solid 4, unfortunately.
So I'm going to give it a solid 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. I think that's about average for us. We go back to where the cinematography saved it for me a little bit. Didn't save the whole movie, though. Mm-hmm. Of course, as well, was William Dafoe when he came on screen.
He has such a presence. It's
yes,
great.
He does. I know.
It's great.
So William Dafoe probably comes in Act 2 of the film, and he has this he drives the story better. He makes it better, but because he's not the main character, he doesn't really save the film for me. And again, that's a 5 out of 10, guys, that I really give it. And one of the things I'm also gonna want to acknowledge to Bill Skarsgård, I didn't recognize him, and to be honest, they could have had anybody in that suit at this point, just because of the fact that voice was changed.
Disagree.
And everything was just, I don't know.
I disagree. I think Bill does a really good job at invoking a certain creepiness, and while I wish the character looked more creepy, I do think he brought something to make Count Orlok come to life. I do think he has very good skills at doing things like that. Like, he was it, and he did a fantastic job as it, and he just has those mannerisms that he can bring creepy kind of into, like, bring it to life. And I really respect him for taking this role. I really do. I think he did a good job. Now, did he look? That's a whole different story. The makeup and the effects and the mustache and the design of the creature, could that have been better? Sure. But I think Bill himself as the creature, as Count Orlok, was pretty good.
But see, we didn't have any creepy moments in my point. I mean, I didn't see any creepy moments.
Just the way his mannerisms as Count Orlok, for me. Again, I think he did a good job.
I expected more blood. I expected more.
For a vampire movie.
Yes, for an adaptation of a vampire movie. I expected more. I'm not going to lie. I did. I expected more blood. I expected more gruesome, gory moments. And we didn't get that, sadly.
Yeah.
I think we only got 2 blood scenes. I was like, what the hell? Well, this is a vampire. Like, this is an adaptation of a creature or a vampire movie. Like,
but to be fair, Count Orlok was old and sick, so to have these over the top bloody scenes for his character wouldn't have been believable to me, that he's on the verge, on his last leg of dying, and he's doing all these fantastic scenes. No, it wouldn't have been believable. So it made sense with the story. But I mean,
he's superhuman, right? He's supposed to be this powerful being, and
sure,
you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying he's supernatural. That's all I'm saying. This is supernatural. There's the possibilities are endless.
So
no, true, but the possibilities are endless at night. They're endless, supernatural. But one of the things I do want to say as well was Leslie Rose Depp. Her performance in here, I feel like there was something missing, and
yes,
and her possession scenes were a little bit over the top in a way. I don't know. I just didn't agree with it. We kind of got a sense of it in the trailer and everything, and I don't know. There was something missing. I just didn't like her performance in here, and it sucks because I really want to bless you. I really want to everyone's performance in this movie, but for me, I didn't like Leslie Rose Depp's performance in here, and I hate to say that. But
nothing on her. It's just, I don't know if it was a character too.
It was just a character. For the way the character was written and everything. And then Nicholas Hoult here was really good as Thomas. I thought he did a good job in here.
I don't think I've ever seen Nicholas Hoult in a bad movie or a bad
I know you haven't
role.
seen it yet, but it wasn't great. It was just okay. Under the Whelming of Sucking, and it was called The Juror Number 2, and it's on Max. You didn't see it this year. It came out like...
Unfortunately, I did not see that.
And that movie wasn't good at all. I mean, it was good, little small moments, but for me, I almost like at the tipping point of like sucking. But anyways, going back to this, guys, would you recommend this movie? I'm going to say if you are interested in horror, if you're interested in that Dracula adaptation, I mean, give it a shot. We do recommend everyone to give a shot. And even though we didn't enjoy this movie, we're going to tell you right now, if you're on the last movie ticket of the year and you're like, my last 15, whatever the amount is for a movie ticket and where you're at, I would not tell you to go see this movie. Right. I'll say that.
Especially with what's in theaters now.
Go see A Complete Unknown. Go see other movies that are just grand, that are just a little bit better. And I hate to say that because a lot of...
Or see Wicked again.
No, the sing-along, right? But anyways, going back to this, there's still great moments in here, great shots in here that are just... The cinematography is great, but it didn't save the movie for me. And it sucks to say that. But unfortunately. All right, guys. Thank you so much for making this a part of your day. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan680.
I am Angela at that Kelly
and see you at the movies, guys. Peace.